Alright guys, I'm moving pretty soon, so I wanted to do a shelf tour while they're still set up the way they are, because I'm not sure how they're going to be in the future. So I wanted to get this out the way now, and because I'm moving, my uploads might take a bit of a hit, they might slow down, but I will still be uploading. So this is what my shelves look like in their entirety. And I think they look amazing. So I'll go top left, down, middle left, down, and then the right shelf down. So at the very top, got the Daredevil books, and I'm only missing two. This is Miller Companion, Elektra by Miller, Marvel Knights by Joe Quesada, which is basically Daredevil. There's one Punisher story in it. Everything else is Daredevil. Bendis 1, Bendis 2, these are the 2020 reprints. Brubaker 1, Brubaker 2, these are 2017 reprints, I believe. Wade 1 and Wade 2, I'm not sure what they are. So all I'm missing on that is Daredevil Volume 1, which is the Silver Age stuff, and Shadowland, which goes right here. And then here I have the Amazing Spider-Man 1, which is the 2019 reprint. Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think this is, I can't remember what that one is, but I paid less than 100 for it, and I'm quite pleased with that, because I believe Omar said this is getting a reprint in 2021, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, Spider-Man by Roger Stern, which is also getting a reprint in 2021. The Amazing Spider-Man by David Michelini and Todd McFarlane. This is the reprint. Spider-Man by David Michelini and Eric Larson. Untold Tales of Spider-Man. I think there was only one printing of this, but that's also getting a reprint in 2021. Now, they're the three that are getting reprinted. ASM2, Stern, and Untold Tales. I bought Untold Tales last month and Stern the month before. And, you know, I paid a bit more for them because they were out of print. But I'm not bothered about that. Hindsight is 2020. What are you going to do? Piss and moan about it all day? No, it's just timing. So, you know, deal with it. But my concerns with these reprints in 2021 are they're struggling to get the stuff out in 2020 because of the coronavirus. And that's completely understandable. I do not blame Marvel. It's, you know, the world hasn't seen anything like this before. The closest thing I think the entire world has seen to this is World War II. And honestly, comics weren't, you know, when it comes to food, soap, that sort of stuff that really matters to people, comics are way, way down at the bottom. So, you know, these are not a priority. And, you know, even if you got money, and Marvel is trying, there's still limits to what they can do with where they can print and their staff. They are still getting the books out. I say it in every video. Omar says it as well. They are coming. You just have to be patient. And my concerns with these is not that they won't come. I believe they will. It's just that I think 2021 is optimistic when they can't get everything out in 2020. For instance, I did not get my Bendis Daredevil books, even though I pre-ordered them. I had to get them from a different seller. I pre-ordered the Miles Morales reprint plus X-Men Volume 1 reprint, and they haven't arrived. I believe they will arrive. It will take time. Patience is key here. But I think it's optimistic to think that just because Marvel have said this and this are coming in 2021, it's optimistic to think that it actually will. I think it's more likely to be 2022, maybe 2023. I would still advise against paying stupid prices for these, because they have announced them and they will come. I do believe that. So just be patient and wait for them. Don't pay £200 or whatever, because it's not worth it. They've announced it, you know it's coming, so you know, just be patient. In a year and a half, you'll probably have a brand new copy on your shelf for less than retail, so be patient. Eventually, once I do get Daredevil Volume 1 and Shadowland, they'll take up those 2 spaces, so stuff's going to have to move down. But at the moment I have a perfect Daredevil shelf and a perfect Spider-Man shelf, which I love. I just want to point out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Daredevil Omnis fit on that shelf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Spider-Man ones fit on that shelf. And that's because these should have been 1 volume, these should have been 1 volume, these should have been 1 volume. You get omnibuses that are close to 1500 pages, so when you have 800 plus 700, that's 1500. 1 volume. This is even less. This is about the same. 1 volume, 1 volume, 1 volume, and then that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. Stop taking the piss, Marvel. People don't like it. So that's Daredevil, that's Spider-Man. All I'm missing here is Volume 3 and Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane. And then once I get those 2, that will be a complete run there. And my next shelf is Clone Saga Volume 1, Clone Saga Volume 2, Ben Reilly Volume 1, John Byrne, Spider-Man's Tangled Web, JMS 1 and JMS 2. I don't think there's really too much of a difference with this having a flat spine and this not. I think it looks fine. The spines match up perfectly. Even the, you know, the credits. And this kind of gets me. It really does. Like, you can see here that the logos pretty much match up, and then you've got a book of the same size here, which was released between this one and this one, and the Omnibus logo looks like that. It's just mental. Like Ben Reilly 1, where it says Omnibus, and these are all pretty much the same sizes, where it says Omnibus, it's thinner than where it says Marvel, and then here it's wider, here it's wider, touch wider. Why? And like, if you look at where the credits are, you've got the line there, and then it's higher here, and I just think, why not just line them up? And I love the way Clone Saga 1 and Clone Saga 2 match up perfectly. Ben Reilly's slightly different, but that's understandable because it's Clone Saga 3 but not. So I can understand why they gave this its own kind of slightly different logo and slightly different layout. But when you've got these 2 perfectly matching, this one ever so slightly different because it is a slightly different book, and then you got this where the logo's so much shorter than anything that came before it. I just think, why? I mean, I love the way they've done John Byrne in the Spider-Man writing. This is my favourite Spider-Man logo. But it would just be nice if you could have all the books line up. That logo, you know, I don't mind changing the colours, but, you know, have them all looking like that, or all like that, or all like that. Anyway, I'll put Tangled Web there because this is a kind of its own series, but I remember reading Spider-Man in the early 2000s, and this is when these comics came out, so I keep this here for that reason. Eventually I may put it at the end because everything from here to here is volume 1, and after this book you have Brand New Day. This ends with One More Day, and volume 2 starts with Brand New Day. So this is volume 1. This fits in with volume 1, so it has to come before the end of this. If it comes after this, it's out of order, and I don't like that. I'm really anal about that stuff. What am I missing on this shelf? Between Untold Tales and Clone Saga is Spider-Man vs. Venom. And what else am I missing? Superior Foes of Spider-Man. So all I need is Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man by McFarlane, Spider-Man vs. Venom, and Superior Foes. So I've got 4 main Spider-Man books to go, and then there's the 2 Carnage books and 2 Venom books. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Spidey Omnis. And I do love the way they look. It seems most of volume 1 will be black, because some of John Byrne, in fact all of John Byrne, fits in volume 1. It was right before Straczynski, plus, I mean, there was earlier Byrne stuff and later Byrne stuff. So this should have been black, because it's volume 1, and then anything after volume 1 could be white. So these all should have been black then, really. And then Brand New Day and onwards should have been white. I mean, I don't mind as long as they keep all of this black and all of this white. Because I don't want black, white, black, white, black, black, white, black, white, white, white. You know, it would look stupid. So I'd like them to have some consistency. But yeah, I do love the way these shelves look. That's a solid set of shelves. And this is only 3 shelves. They're like the half-width shelves. And it looks great, but you compare it with like Gem Mint Collectibles shelves, and this is like one of his bookcases, and then he's got the entire fucking row. So that's where ASM ends, and this is where my mainstream Marvel Omnis end. So the next shelf down is the start of the Ultimate Universe. I'll just move out so you can see what it looks like. There you go. So if I have Ultimate Spider-Man here, Ultimate X-Men here, and then Ultimate Fantastic Four plus Marvel Team Up, Power and Galactus Trilogy. What I do when I don't have enough books to fill up a shelf, I turn them on their sides. So this is just an oversized hardcover about the same thickness as volume 1. This is volume 2. Turn it on its side. You've got the fantastic comic art that fits with the shelf, plus it's in order. So volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. And it fills up your shelves. And I've done the same thing here. Ultimate X-Men 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 9 is on its side. And that's all the Ultimate X-Men. Same with Fantastic Four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if I turned this on its side to match these, every Ultimate Fantastic Four book would actually fit here. But then I'd have an empty shelf here. But as I fill up with more Omnis, Spider-Man will have to come down to here. And these will end up getting condensed. But this is a good sort of placeholder to make your shelves look good while you're waiting to get more books. And I saw Thomas Judge's room tour, and I just want to get in his room and do this to his shelves, because just because you don't have enough to fill up a shelf this way doesn't mean you can't fill it out that way, and it still looks good. The art matches the content on the rest of the shelf. It's still in order, and you can't always do this. Eventually you will end up with a gap. Like as soon as X-Men Volume 1 arrives, that's going to go there because I've got no room up there, which means this will have to go here, that will have to go there, and this will have to go on its lengthways, which means I'll end up with a gap here. So it's not perfect, but when you're in these kind of situations, it helps make things look better. Oh, my arm's getting tired. So what we have on this shelf, following on from ASM, is Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1. Volume 2, just never going to happen. And I have Ultimate Spider-Man oversized hardcovers 1, 2, 3, 9 and 12. Now, it's pointless me owning 1, 2 and 3 because they're what's contained in the omnibus. But I just like having them, so I have them. So 1, 2, 3. I still need to get quite a few. Then I've got 9 and 12. 12 is the last one. And then you move on to Death of Spider-Man Omnibus. And then after that, it will be the Miles Morales Omnibus. And I believe there's some double dipping in the Death of Spider-Man Omnibus with the Ultimates versus the Avengers Omnibus. This is Ultimate Spider-Man, and you can see it's just shorter. Now, this is a hardcover. It's a Premiere Edition, and Marvel just really needed to sort these out because they had some Premiere Editions which are like this, where it's basically the size of a trade paperback but hardcover. But then they did also have oversized hardcovers where it still had the Premiere Edition logo on it, which is just, I mean, that's a mindfuck. How are people supposed to know? So I always have to ask sellers, how big is the book? Because I don't want to get a trade paperback hardcover. I want to get the oversized hardcover. Anyway, so here we have Ultimate X-Men 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, which is the full run from Volume 1. Yeah, Thomas Judge said on his channel about all the different colours, and he's right. I mean, I'm not too bothered because at least they line up. But it's just weird that, like, 1's one colour, 2's another colour, 3's another colour, 4's another colour, 5, 6 and 7 are all the same colour, and then 8's a different colour. It's just no logic to it whatsoever. And then down here we have Ultimate Fantastic Four Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, which is the full run. 1 has the spine just like 2, and then 3, 4, 5 and 6. Why is this longer here than here? I see no logic in it. It's the same as that. Thomas Judge has a video on his channel where he shows off his Ultimate Universe shelves, and he said the same thing. It just makes no sense. So here we have Ultimate Marvel Team Up, Ultimate Power, and Ultimate Galactus Trilogy. I don't have a lot more to get off Volume 1. When I say Volume 1, I mean the Ultimate Universe up to and including Ultimatum. So I need to get Spider-Man 3 to 8 plus 10 and 11. These are complete. These are complete. These are one-offs. What do I need? I need things like Ultimate Human, Ultimate Iron Man Volume 2, Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine, or Wolverine versus Hulk, whatever it was called. I believe that's a Premiere Edition book. Ultimate Captain America, I'm sure there's a hardcover of that, an oversized hardcover. So there's not that many to go. These are ridiculously priced, so I'll get them very, very slowly. But the others, hopefully they'll be a bit cheaper, so I'll get them as I go along. So that's my Ultimate shelf. So the idea is I have my omnibuses, my Marvel omnibuses. I don't have any others. My mainstream Marvel omnibuses. Then I have my ultimate omnibus plus oversized hardcovers. So this is entirely main Marvel characters, you know, original Marvel characters. Then the idea is still Marvel following on, Marvel Comics, but this is the Disney Star Wars. So you got Marvel characters, Marvel Star Wars, Marvel Disney Star Wars expanded universe. So I was kind of going for this flow of, you know, some kind of logic, but there's an issue with that because I got my Harry Potter Deluxe edition books here. I remember skiving school when I was about 14 and buying that because I was a little weirdo. I used to skive school and go to bookshops. So I have all 7 books. Chamber of Secrets. Oh, fuck it, let's show you. Chamber of Secrets. And I love these because they have this like gold trim on the side, and they're proper hardcover size. They're not like the Harry Potter books that I think most kids in England grew up with, which I call the real Harry Potter books, because the American ones are just weird. They've got different art. So that's Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire. The ending of that is so good. Order of the Phoenix. I once, I really shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I once, when I was 16 when this book came out, and it was right during the GCSE period, which is our end of high school exams in England. And I was reading it. I read it more than I studied or revised for my GCSEs. And I was like 2/3 of the way through, and this twat came along and he went, Sirius Black, what, spoilers for the book and the movie if you haven't seen it. He goes, Sirius Black dies at the end of that book. And I swear to God, something just flipped in my head, and I chased him from one end of the school to the other, and he made the mistake of trying to go through a door that opened, you had to pull to open, and that took him just that little bit too long, and I rammed his head right into the fucking door. I'm not proud of it, but he really did piss me off. When you wait like 3 or 4 years for a book, and then somebody ruins it for you, it's like that Homer Simpson Star Wars moment when he goes to see Empire Strikes Back with Marge. Plus I was 16, you know, I was stupid. Anyway, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And I like that they kept the original English covers on. You know, they just changed them to be a little bit smaller, but these are like cotton bound, and they got the gold trim on. They look amazing. So yeah, I'm glad I got these. It took me years to get the final book, but I managed to get it. This is Turd, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It's like a greatest hits of Harry Potter, and it doesn't work for me. But this was in the era when J.K. Rowling gave up on Harry Potter, basically, and, you know, the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies are suffering because she's not writing them out as a book first. This play is just turd because, hey, it's money. She announced that Dumbledore is gay even though it's not in the book, so it's completely pandering to people. It's just stupid. And this is one of the worst offenders from that period of, you know, J.K. Rowling. I stopped reading this when the trolley lady on the Hogwarts Express, she goes, any cakes, dear? Any food, dear? That one. When the kids try to escape and they climb on top of the Hogwarts Express, that it turns out the trolley lady is actually the T-1000 from Terminator 2, because she climbs on top of the train to try and catch them, and, you know, she's got like knives for arms or something. She transforms, and at that point I was just like, fuck off, this is just the worst fan fiction I've ever read. That's where I keep all my old cinema tickets. Oh, let's get them out of the way. Plus my spare bookmarks. So this is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This is a book that was released in like 2001, something like that, for Comic Relief, and it's very thin, but it was £1, and all the money went to Comic Relief. And they had another one which I had called Quidditch Through the Ages, and both of these books were textbooks Harry had in the actual books. And Quidditch Through the Ages was green, but this is the better book in my opinion, because it adds a lot of lore, and Quidditch Through the Ages added lore too, but this is just more entertaining because it's more about beasts that Harry might have to fight and pop up throughout the books. So yeah, it's really good. I'm gonna have to get Quidditch Through the Ages again because I miss not having that. So up next is my Darth Vader omnibus, because we're starting the Disney Star Wars stuff. This contains volumes 1 and 2 of the oversized hardcovers and all the trades that were released for this version of Darth Vader. There's another one, Darth Vader Dark Lord of the Sith. I want to get the... I'm thinking of selling this because I've got all the other oversized hardcovers. I'd rather just have this in 2 oversized hardcovers. And oh, I'm getting so pissed off with Marvel because we've got Age of the Republic hardcover, which I like, and there's an Age of Rebellion one, and I think Age of Republic has just been released, which is great. So, but then we've got Star Wars Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and that came out about 2 years ago. Where the fuck is Volume 4? Because these were released on an annual basis. Dr. Aphra was released 2 years ago, I think, and Volume 2 has only just been released. Somehow they managed to release Volume 2 during this pandemic, but they couldn't release it the year before when there was no pandemic. It's ridiculous. Anyway, there's Age of the Republic. There's Kanan, which is classed as an omnibus according to Marvel, but look at it, it's a fucking oversized hardcover. Technically it contains every issue of Kanan, so it is an omnibus, but it's not. Heroes for a New Hope, Han Solo, Star Wars 1, 2 and 3. Now these 3 have been recollected in one omnibus, which is the Jason Aaron omnibus, which I don't really want. Like I said, I'd rather sell this, get this in 2 volumes, because then I could have, this is blue, 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 red, so I could have Star Wars 1, which is blue, Darth Vader 1, which is red, which is the right order, Star Wars 2, which is blue, Star Wars 2, Darth Vader 2, which is red, which is the right order. There's no more Darth Vader, so it would be Star Wars 3, which is blue, Dr. Aphra 1, which is red, Star Wars 4, which is blue, Dr. Aphra 2, which is red. So I could keep that going. I would not be in the slightest bit surprised, because these ones are between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and they've ended these and started between the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi comics, which I haven't read at all. But I wouldn't be surprised if she pops up in The Mandalorian. Wouldn't be the slightest bit surprised. So then we have these, which are the oversized hardcovers that don't have a dust jacket for some reason. And you can tell when they do or don't, because the ones that have a dust jacket have the logo like that, and the ones that don't have the logo like that. Don't know why, but there you go. Marvel logic for you, or is it Disney logic? Who knows? So Shattered Empire was the prequel comic to, there you go, Journey to Star Wars The Force Awakens. Captain Phasma was the prequel and Journey to Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, the prequel that was Journey to Rise of Skywalker was The Fall of Kylo Ren, I believe it was called. And we have yet to hear of that being released as a hardcover. And I would also like, what was it called? Lost Temple? Fallen Temple? Because I've played Jedi Fallen Order and I think that was amazing. A few issues, but in general, I think it's Star Wars games back on track. And there was a prequel comic just like these, and I would love if they released it in this format. Because I believe it's got the same artist or the same writer or both. Because this, I believe, was the same team for both books. So it would be nice to have The Fall of Kylo Ren to go with this, plus the prequel to Jedi Fallen Order. And then we got the trades. So, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan and Anakin, Darth Maul, son of Dathomir, Mace Windu, Jedi of the Republic. I really thought there was going to be like a Jedi of the Republic Yoda, Jedi of the Republic Qui-Gon, that sort of thing, just like the old Jedi comics from like, what was 2002, something like that, maybe 2004. But no, it's just the one, which is a shame. Lando Double or Nothing, which is one of the worst comics I've ever read. And then you got Poe Dameron volumes 1 to 5, which are a close follow-up to Lando Double or Nothing. It's turd. And you got these kids books, which the first 3 were actually pretty good. They were still kids books, but they didn't contradict the OT characters. They played to their strengths. Weapon of a Jedi, which is a Luke story. Smuggler's Run, which is a Han story, and Moving Target, which is a Leia story. And these are worth reading if you got like 2 hours, because they are kids books. But compared to the rest of the stuff where they crucified Luke and all the OT characters, these ones are by far the most loyal to the on-screen characters. And then you got Spark of the Resistance, which I assume is red because it's Rey having a period everywhere, telling Poe he can't fly the Falcon and all that shit. Woman power. Justina Ireland, I believe on her Twitter page, she says about feminism, so there you go. This is the problem. Disney isn't hiring writers to write good Star Wars stories. They're hiring writers to write Me Too stories, you know, and it just doesn't work. Get the foundation right first. Nobody said, oh, Lando's a black man, George Lucas must be, you know, trying to stand up for black people. No, he was just a black character. Nobody cared. He was just a black character. It didn't have to be anything more than it was. And Empire Strikes Back is one of the, well, it's the best Star Wars story. Get the foundation right first. Make it Star Wars first. Then talk about that stuff. Don't be identity politics first, then Star Wars. This is why Star Wars is in so much trouble. This is why we haven't got hardcovers of things we should have yet. It's because people, they aren't interested in having politics shoved down their throat. There's no reason for it. This is how you destroy a franchise. So next we have books. I'm missing a couple because I lent them to someone, but I got most of them. So again, if I condensed all these 4 shelves down, it would only actually be 3 shelves. But by turning these on their side, I have 4 full shelves. So I've got Master and Apprentice, Queen's Shadow, and I hate when they do this, but Queen's, whatever it's called, the new one goes before this one. But at least this doesn't say 1 or 2 on it, so even if Queen's Peril goes here, it doesn't really matter. And you've got Catalyst, a Rogue One novel, Dark Disciple, Ahsoka, Lord of the Sith, A New Dawn. I really like that book. Most Wanted, Tarkin, Thrawn Alliances, Thrawn Treason goes there, but that's one of the ones I lent. Leia, Princess of Alderaan, Rebel Rising, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. From a certain point of view, and they're doing an Empire Strikes Back version of this, so I'm dreading that. A New Hope, 40th anniversary edition that doesn't come with a dust jacket. Because Disney. Heir to the Jedi, which is also turd. And this is what I'm talking about. You've got Battlefront, Twilight Company, Battlefront 2, Inferno Squad. And this takes place before this. But I can't have 2 following 1. So technically these books are the wrong way around chronologically, but I can't have it the wrong way around. I just can't. So then you got Lost Stars. This turd is right up there with Lando Double or Nothing and the Poe books. It's just shit. This is what I'm talking about. It was Identity Politics first, Star Wars second. These should have been 2 books maximum. Find my review of that and I explain why. This book is redundant. Everything in this book could have been in these 2 books, and some of it was. Last Shot, which is just still not good. A book about Han and Lando where they pay someone else to fly them places. Like the 2 hotshot pilots, and they pay someone else to fly them places. This is ridiculous. Bloodline, Phasma, Canto Bight. What am I missing? Oh yeah, it goes up there, but it fits in about here. What's it called? Force Collector. So then you got The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Black Spire, and I'm missing one there as well. What's it called? Crash of Fate. So I'm missing about 3 or 4 books. But yeah, there's the 4 shelves. And then up here, I'm going to have some beer. Oh, excuse me a second. Cheers. You know what? I wish I had some lemonade, because that would... I'm well in the mood for a shandy. Anyway, so top shelf again. And this is the big shelf. These shelves are half width, and this is the full width. So up here I have Power Rangers Deluxe Editions, Volume 1, Volume 2 and Shattered Grid. Go-Go Volume 1, Go-Go Volume 2, Lost Chronicles Volume 1, Soul of the Dragon, The Psychopath. I'll get the Time Force one when it comes out as well. The Archive Books Volume 1 and 2, and I like the way they match up. Then I got Transformers Volume 1, and again I've done the side thing to fill out the shelf. So Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4. I ordered Volume 5 and it never arrived. Volume 6, Volume 7, Volume 8. The problem with Volume 5 is it's in this like group of printing. That's the one that's impossible to get. Which is just sod's law. When I buy it, it doesn't arrive. Oh well, they'll reprint it, so whatever. Then I got my Star Wars trades. So I got Dawn of the Jedi Volume 1, Volume 2. I need Volume 3, but I'll wait till it's a more decent price. Tales of the Jedi. Golden Age of the Sith. Fall of the Sith Empire. Knights of the Old Republic, which is just called Tales of the Jedi, and it's not the game, and it's not the other comics with that kid. I like those comics, but it's not that. This is the original one, which is like 94 or something. And you got the Freed and Nad Uprising, which is this skinny trade, because it's only got 2 comics in it. I don't know why it wasn't just included in like Tales of the Jedi, but there you go. Then you got the Sith War, and I'm only missing 2 books, I think, for that series. Oh god, what are they? Dark Lords of the Sith, which takes place between the Freed and Nad Uprising and the Sith War, and after this there's Redemption, which focuses on Ulic Qel-Droma. And then I got Star Wars Episode 1 Adventures, which contains actually a fair amount of cut content from the movie. This is set during Episode 1, so you'll see like deleted scenes. And I've got all the Clone Wars trade, so volumes 1 to 9. I need to get the Republic ones between these, like Prelude to Rebellion, all that sort of stuff. Splinter of the Mind's Eye. I've got 3 X-Wing books. The Phantom Affair, which I got as a kid. The Warrior Princess and In the Empire's Service. What was I going to say? I was thinking about something. Can't remember. Then I got Tales volumes 1 to 4. There are 6 volumes altogether. Whew. And then it's on to the books. So there are a few books which aren't collected in hardcover, just paperback. And I won't keep these on this shelf if I ever get them. And I also, you know, I don't have a complete set. I've got a lot of it. I've got like 2/3, maybe 3/4, but I'm not there yet. I'll go through them with you now though. So these are all standard size hardcovers. They're not the little travel ones like the SFBC books. So Dawn of the Jedi, Into the Void, which takes place during Dawn of the Jedi Volume 1. And you've got Revan, Deceived, Fatal Alliance, and Annihilation. And these are the 4 books that were released before the Old Republic MMO came out. And I've got to finish playing KOTOR 2 so I can read this. Red Harvest, which is Turd. Technically this takes place here. But look, the Old Republic, the Old Republic, the Old Republic, the Old Republic. And the thing is, this was released while some of these were released, you know, between them. So there's no reason this couldn't have said the Old Republic, Red Harvest. And I refuse to split these up. So this one goes here, even though it takes place there. Then you got the Darth Bane trilogy, which is Path of Destruction, Dynasty of Evil, and Rule of Two. Darth Plagueis, Maul Lockdown, which was one of the last books, if not the last books to be released in the expanded universe. Cloak of Deception and Darth Maul Shadowhunter. And this is one of the earlier books, like when they stopped doing the New Republic stuff and the prequels came out. This is like one of the first books they did, because it's these two are kind of like a duology. They're not really, but they fit in with each other like it, which is why they match on the spine. So in like 2001 they released a Darth Maul book, and then the very next Darth Maul book to be released was released in like 2014. Which is just fucking bizarre, but there you go. So yeah, Cloak of Deception, Darth Maul Shadowhunter, Phantom Menace, Rogue Planet, which I love because it's such a heartbreaking story for Anakin, with, you know, the way his ship, he loses it, and I love the way it ties into the New Jedi Order stuff. I hadn't read New Jedi Order at that point, and I still haven't read all of it. I got about halfway through and gave up, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Outbound Flight, which is a Thrawn prequel. The Approaching Storm. Attack of the Clones. This, I believe, deals with, you know, at the beginning of episode 2, after the attack on Padme, and they ask about, can Obi-Wan protect Padme? And they say he's just got back from a border dispute on Antion. This is that. Then you got the Clone Wars books. So you got the Sester's Deception, which is an Obi-Wan story. Jedi Trial, which is Anakin's story. Shatterpoint, which is Mace Windu's story. And then right here, I would put Yoda Dark Rendezvous, because for some reason the only hardcover of that released was SFBC, even though the other 3 Clone Wars novels were released in full-sized. And again, I can't have Clone Wars here, then Clone Wars here, even though that's when it takes place, so I would put it there when I get it. What do we have? Republic Commando, Volume 1. This is the SFBC books. So this contains the first 2 stories. Republic Commando Volume 2, which is the second 2. Might even be 3. And you got MedStar, which is a duology. What's her name? Barriss Sophie. She was in the Clone Wars. And her story here doesn't match up with what we see in the Clone Wars, and it's almost as if George didn't consider the expanded universe canon, but, you know, people want to believe he did, so I don't know why they need him to believe it. Just, you can still enjoy the expanded universe without him believing it was canon. This isn't going to change. Labyrinth of Evil, which is a direct prequel to Revenge of the Sith. This is another reason George didn't consider the expanded universe canon, because they go straight from the end of this book into the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, Kenobi, Force Unleashed 1 and 2, Death Star, Allegiance, I'm missing one there, Shadow, I'm actually missing quite a few in the Dark Times, like Coruscant Knights and The Last Jedi, the original Last Jedi story, which was a follow-up to the 3 Coruscant Knights books. Shadows of the Empire, Truce at Bakura, Luke Skywalker and the Shadows of Mindor, The Courtship of Princess Leia, another reason George didn't consider the EU canon. Trust me, read this and then watch the Clone Wars and tell me George considered this book canon. The Night Sisters are completely different. Dathomir is different. Everything is different. He didn't consider this canon. He drew from it, don't get me wrong, but he didn't consider it canon. Tatooine Ghost, which I hated when it came out, but I'm going to have to give that another go. And you got the Thrawn trilogy, Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command. Oh, beer time. That's good. And then you have the Jedi Academy trilogy. Now, this is Bantam. It's like the Reader's Digest version, but there is an SFBC version as well, which matches these. But because it's an SFBC version, it's shorter, like these, and I wanted the full-length, full-sized hardcover, so that's what this is. Then you got iJedi, which was like the first retcon in the expanded universe, because it changes some of this, but not much, but enough. And you got Children of the Jedi, Darksaber, and Planet of Twilight, which are 3 individual books, but fans call them the Callista trilogy because there's a character called Callista in them. That's not the official name, that's a fan name. Then you got the Crystal Star, The New Rebellion. I like that book. A lot of people don't, but I like it. Then you got the Hand of Thrawn duology, Spectre of the Past and Vision of the Future. Survivor's Quest, which was kind of... that was written after this, but it was kind of wedged in there. And this, I think this one came out first, and then Outbound Flight came out, and they're directly connected because in Survivor's Quest, Luke and Mara, they go and explore the wreckage of Outbound Flight, and they go into Chiss space, and then in Outbound Flight we actually see what happens. So this sets up the question, what happened here? And this answers it, and this started it all the way back in 91, and this was like 2005. So it took like 14, 15 years. One throwaway line, and look what happened. Then you got the New Jedi Order books. I don't like these because I feel like they tried to change the tone of Star Wars, and I don't like when people do that. Star Wars should be fun. And if you've ever seen the remake of Battlestar Galactica, it's very heavy and dark, and this has the same kind of tone. If you took the tone from Battlestar Galactica and put that into Star Wars, that's what these books feel like to me, and that's why I couldn't get through them. They were just so, it was this constantly heavy feeling reading these books, and where these books were all fun, these were not. And I understand what they were doing. They put new risks on the line. You know, there was a new thing to fight, and I get it. And I think if you're going to move Star Wars forward, this is a good way to do it. I just wish it hadn't all been as heavy as it was, because you need high moments as well, and they were few and far between in these books, and that did serve a purpose to show how much they were getting their asses kicked. But still, it was just too much. I needed some more light moments in between. But anyway, Vector Prime, Dark Tide Duology. All the little ones are SFBC hardcovers. No paperbacks on here. Agents of Chaos, Balance Point, Edge of Victory, Star by Star, Dark Journey, Enemy Lines, Traitor, Destiny's Way, False Heretic, Final Prophecy, The Unifying Force, which is the last book, and these are all in order. So there you go. That's what a full set of New Jedi Order hardcovers look like. And then this is where I'm missing stuff, because I didn't get through all of these, so I'm not too bothered about collecting all of these yet. These are a nightmare, because I think there's 9 of them, and it's like every first of 3 was released as a proper hardcover. So like book 1, book 4 and book 7 were proper hardcovers, and then book 2 and 3, 5 and 6, 8 and 9 were SFBC hardcovers, and they're ridiculously hard to find and ridiculously expensive. So considering I've got to reread all of these first anyway, I mean, I'm not in a rush to complete this, especially at the prices they are. And then you've got Millennium Falcon, and I'm missing the Darkness trilogy, which goes either here or here, I can't quite remember, but that's an SFBC book as well. And then you've got Fate of the Jedi, which is the last main series. So Outcast, Omen, Abyss, Backlash, Allies, Vortex, Conviction, and I'm missing 2, Apocalypse and Ascension. X-Wing Mercy Kill. This is the only hardcover X-Wing book, and I'm really surprised about that, because they could have very easily, like here, and I think it's this one, no, False Heretic, that's got 3 books in it. So they could have, I think there were 9 main X-Wing books, you know, in the New Republic era. So they could have very easily done SFBC versions of like books 1 to 3, 4 to 6 and 7 to 9, but they never have. So this is the only hardcover X-Wing book. These, I've reviewed that on my channel, I'm reading that now, and I don't want to read these until after I've reread these. These are Dark Horse comics, and they're hardcovers. And so this is a comic adaptation of the Thrawn trilogy. So it's 6 issues for book 1, 6 for book 2, and 6 for book 3. That's on my channel. Dark Empire trilogy, I think, was 6, 6, and 2. I mean, this is just... you really should watch my review on this, because I talked about plagiarism of Johnson. I released this, I think it was less than a year after The Last Jedi came out. I can't remember, you'll have to check the date on it. But I talked about Disney plagiarism in that, and how much Rian Johnson stole from this. And then way before Rise of Skywalker came out, I did the review, and then Rise of Skywalker took even more from that book, and it was just shit, absolute shit. Got the Crimson Empire saga, which I'm reading. This is really good, really, really good. And then you got Legacy 1, 2, and 3, which is set way, way, way after all of this, like hundreds of years, and it's the descendants of like Skywalkers and the Solos. So I can't really read these until I've at least read these, because this affects the galaxy. There's like a couple of previously pages in this, so you could read it without reading these if you wanted to, I think, but I'm not going to, because I want to get the most out of it. And there's also a kind of crossover. There was this, oh, what was it? Was it Cross Current or Riptide? That goes somewhere here. It's like 2 books that should have been released as an SFBC duology, but never was, so they're paperback only. But there's this thing where Luke appears in all these books, which technically makes it a crossover. Anyway, that they are the only hardcover Dark Horse books that were released in this format. There were a couple of others. Is it Darth Vader and the Ninth Assassin? And when Dark Horse finally decided to do a main Star Wars comic like Marvel do, they had In the Shadow of Yavin. That was an oversized hardcover, but that's hard to find and expensive, so fuck it, I ain't getting that until it comes down in price. And then I have the Star Wars box set. And this is amazing. This isn't oversized. Like, there's my Transformers Premier Collection books, Essential Guide books, Brady Games books. So you can see how big this is. This is bigger than an oversized hardcover, and the box is even bigger. And it's really, really very cool. I'm going to review this very soon, hopefully. And you'll get to see what it's like, because there's 3 books in it. There's one for the comic, which is this one. And I've taken it out, put it on its side to fill up the space again. But there's also like a making of book, plus there's this book of like lithographs, which are stored in pages, but you can pull them out. It's very, very cool. I definitely will review this soon. And then you got this book I've had since I was a kid. And I've actually gone through this book and written out notes where things... and I did this in '99, where things in episode 1 didn't match up with those books. So you got... here we go. Stay. You got the Essential Guide to Characters, Droids, Planets and Moons, Vehicles and Vessels, and Weapons and Technology. And there was another one released in '99 or some point afterwards, which was like Aliens, and it had the same kind of... oh, there it goes. Same kind of logo like that. They all have this layout. And the Guide to Aliens had that logo, but it had like Nemoidians in it and stuff, and I don't really want it, because it doesn't fit in with the expanded universe, and this is expanded universe, so if you want it, that's fine, but I don't. These I've reviewed on my channel. These are the Premier Collections of Transformers. These contain the same stories as these. They're just massively oversized. They're like absolute sized. And then, by pure coincidence, I've got my game walkthroughs in the same place as Thomas Judge keeps his. So I've got Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Bioshock, Bioshock 2, Bioshock Infinite, Dragon Quest 9, Resi 6, Ultimate Spider-Man. See, most of those I could do without. The ones where I think you really need a guide to get the most out of everything are the Final Fantasy books. So what do I have here? Crystal Chronicles, 7, 8, 9, which is authorized collection. But this is turd, because every time you look for something in here, it tells you to go to the website, and you think, I paid £20 for this book. Why do I have to go to the website as well? It's fucking ridiculous. 10, 10-2, 12. This guide is excellent, although I will say, there's a weapon, I can't remember whether it's the Zodiac Spear or Excalibur. I followed this guide to the letter, where if you break pots, it won't appear later in the game. And I didn't break the pots, and I still didn't get the weapon. And that annoyed me, so I don't know if that's quite correct on that part. Then I've got 13, 13-2, and I'm quite okay with the fact that these are black and these are white, because these are the black sheep of the Final Fantasy series anyway. And I've got Dragon Quest 8. If you have not played Dragon Quest 8, I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's the best Dragon Quest game I've played. I've got, is it 11, the new one? I've got that. I bought that the day it was released on Steam, so I wanted to show my support for, Square porting their games to PC. But I haven't really sat down and played it, but I'm looking forward to it. But you really should play Dragon Quest 8. And then I got Resi 5, which again I could do without, to be honest. So, if you've made it to the end of this video, well done. It's like an hour long now. I wasn't expecting it to be this long. Wow, I'm having to stand right on the opposite side of my room to get this in view. So, there you go. That's my shelf tour for 2020, and I really hope you enjoyed that, because my arm is really fucking sore.